Okay, so this is October 18th, 2025. This is my best performance in a race to date. Well, that's not true. In terms of where I wound up, I started 6th, I wind up 8th. But these are the fastest laps I've set. This is the track in Spain. And yeah, so let's see how it all plays out. So this is my first lap. The tires are still cold, so it's taking a bit longer. I get a little hesitant, especially at the opening.
That was my fault, sorry.
Especially at the opening there, going into, it was 4 abreast going into the first turn, which is always nerve-wracking. So I just wanted to get through the first lap, settle in a little bit, and then see how things went. That last turn is the one I had the most trouble with. It's a really sharp turn. It seemed like I'm losing a lot of time there compared to everybody else. Yeah, so that was a close call right there. Nearly lost it when that guy almost rolled back into me.
Remco, you're a fucking idiot. Brake checking me.
At a certain point, I'm going to let these guys go past me. One of the things I'm struggling with a bit is during racing, when the pressure's on, I'm trying to work on my iRacing score and my safety score, and having somebody crash into me or me crash into them at this point is just not helpful. But I think I'm going to stop worrying so much about that and start worrying about position pretty soon. But still, I'm working on my lap times, and one of the great things about this race is I'm setting consistent 149s, which for me is some of my fastest laps. Normally I'm setting about a 150, 151, but I'm consistently setting 149s here, and for me, that's really, really good. When I see somebody's got way more pace than me, I usually kick on the radio and tell them just to pass me on the right or pass me on the left, depending on the situation. I'd much rather just be polite and let them go through. They have more pace than me, and I'm really not going to be fighting for any championships anytime soon. At this point, however, I'm just kind of hoping these two behind me, who are competing pretty hard with each other, are going to take each other out, releasing some of the pressure on me. But eventually I just let them go by. I radio and tell them to pass me. I think it takes a lap or two. now that I'm re-watching it, I didn't realize just how long I held them off. There is a point, I think, where I gained a bunch on them, and I thought maybe I got a little complacent at that point, because then they started catching up. In particular, this guy in the white Porsche. Though I've seen him a couple times before, and I know he can be kind of reckless and run off the track occasionally, so I was maybe hoping that even if he came up on me, I just wanted him to pass rather than me fight it and cause an
He just
accident.
passed me on the right going around this corner.
So there you hear me to tell him, go ahead and pass me. Here I am hoping that these two in front of me are going to smack into each other and that I'm in a place to take advantage of it. But I don't think it's to be. Also, I go too deep in this corner here. I find oftentimes I'm cracking under the pressure of these when we're getting in close like this. So I think it's just something that's going to come with experience. Downshifted too late there. I do take a couple off tracks during this race, but not very many, which is good. I mean, it was a nice clean race for the most part. As we get towards the end of the race, I do go significantly off the track, but not enough to lose control of the car too much. So fortunately, I just didn't want to ruin my race at that point. Right there, I pulled a time penalty by cutting that corner a little bit. But I found that even when you pull that time penalty there, by the time you get to all these corners, I don't really have to give up much. I just keep pushing, and the time penalty wears out. You can also see here, I've set a 149.8 in my previous lap, and I pretty consistently set 149s in this race with a few 150s. The first lap was a 157. I never really count that lap since everything's all crowded in at that point. Brake a little late there, so I swing a little wide.
Go ahead and pass me on the left.
Again, that driver had a lot more pace than I did, so better to just let him go through. Someday I'll start fighting that. So my concern at this point is that I've let 3 drivers through. I think I'm down to 7th or 8th position. It shows me in 7th at this moment. But what I'm really concerned about is these 2 guys behind me now, and I don't want to drop 2 more places because I'm doing so great on the laps at this point. So that's what's kind of concerning me at the moment, but I'm trying to just stay focused. Fortunately, I think the guy that was fighting with this guy behind me went off the road at that point. So I felt significantly less pressure, and I was putting some distance between me and the person behind me. I'm currently in 7th place. We're on lap 12 of 15, and again, this guy behind me, I can see that he's creeping up on me slowly. Usually what happens during that is I start feeling the pressure of the guy behind me, and I start making mistakes. I start trying to push a little harder than I'm practiced at, but I did notice that I am catching up to this group in front of me, so I'm feeling pretty good about that at this point. Unfortunately, in the next 2 laps, I really start to feel that my tires are going, and I'll make a significant mistake later on that you'll see. That was a little bit of a mistake there. As I entered that turn, I braked too late. Might have been focused on my stupid windshield wipers too much at that point, but either way, the guy's still behind me. But he's right behind me. At this point, I'm telling me to get my head back in the game. Stop worrying about what just happened last lap. Focus on what you're doing ahead. That guy went off the road there. I was hoping maybe to catch him, but he's just too quick for me. Here I go a little deep. Didn't want to repeat my mistake from last time. So this is the final lap. I know I've lost 7th place. I'm in 8th. I can definitely feel that my tires are not responding like they were earlier, so I'm being a little cautious. There doesn't appear to be anybody behind me at this point. So I'm feeling like I'm in pretty good shape to at least bring it home in 8th. I'm also really happy with the lap times I've been doing. So I'm not too worried about where my place is. I'm just happy with how my performance has been. And of course I go a little wide there. I'm like, just bring the car home at this point.
Great.
Okay, so there you have it. That was the race at that point, and overall, pretty happy with how I did. As I look at my standings in that race, they're not too shabby at all. Here we are with the results and stats, and we can see in this particular race, I believe it's this one. Here I am, and I only gained one I rating, which is better than losing some, and over here I gained some significant safety ratings, so I'm happy with that. Placed 8th. I'm still doing pretty good, so we'll see how things go next time.